We work with some of the richest people in the world. The people we worked with should be easily the top 100 richest people in the world. I didn't know to do a toilet layout. On profile, you can say that you've been an architect for 4 years with international experience, but here you can't even do a toilet design in Chennai. That was a ground reality.
Once you have the process, refine the process, keep refining the process, see if you can cut down few steps, make it even more efficient, and then allowing them to also come up with ideas.
Architecture is a global profession, but it has to be acted locally. Think global, act local.
Intention plays a very important role. You clearly write your intent and keep it very, very sacred. Like, this is what I want to deliver. I make sure that my client is happy.
Nobody can have 100% success rate. You are supposed to not convert all projects. You are not supposed to win every interview. You are not supposed to win every race. You are only supposed to run every race.
Once the client gets very comfortable with you, they have 3 projects. They have to get L1, L2, L3. They'll get L1 and L2 from Knight Frank and CBR. They'll definitely not be in your price. They'll be very high. My point is, you talk to the client, you give them all the drawings, get to that comfort level. You know that you're giving them on time, you're giving them in budget, you're going to be good with them. So what they will do is, they'll make sure that you are there in the project. You don't have to go L1. They'll make you L1. What do you think is the major problem in an office space? Get into DLF, there are like 120 offices, all multinational companies are inside there. What is the major problem they face in any office space?
This is architect Dinesh Kumar Sekar. So I'll give a formal intro first and then my version of the intro. So Dinesh Kumar Sekar is the co-founder and CEO of Pranav Mantra. It's a design firm based out of Chennai. He's a licensed architect and a member of COA and has more than 15-16 years of experience, 18th year of experience.
Yeah.
He holds a master's degree from University of Nottingham. We both studied in the same college here, there as well. And he did environmental design. And he worked as head of interior design and head of interior design projects at a firm called Design Cube between 2013 to 16. We were colleagues there. And during his tenure in Design Cube, he was involved in design and execution of more than 100 projects, ranging from small apartment villas, offices, and commercial establishments. He is an expert in interior design, basically. And he was leading a team of more than 20 people and has completed about 1 lakh square foot of design spaces so far. And prior to Design Cube, he worked with IWA. That's why we work together as well. Interiors with Art in UK. It's a London-based design and build firm where between 2010 and 2013 he was employed there. During his association with IWA, he was involved in design and architectural retrofit of residences, lot of bespoke homes, elegant palaces in the UK, India, and the Middle East, respectively. And he possesses immense knowledge in designing, sourcing, execute furniture, luxury textiles, and elite interior design fraternity. He also has a depth of experience in the design and management of projects both locally and internationally. He did his bachelor's from Tyagaraja College of Engineering, where I studied. Graduated in 2007, Madurai, and he was recruited in campus. Was the first architect to get recruited in a company called Total Environment Building Solutions, Bangalore. Shibani and Kamal Architects and Total Environment. And he worked there for 1 year or so, and then after that only he went to UK for his masters. And he has a specialization in analyzing the building designs for their environmental performance. He's a good research oriented person, and he's done a lot of international papers and publications while he was studying there in masters. And at Design Cube, he worked alongside me and the founder, obviously. In college level, we won a national level design competition as students. IGBC, right? IGBC. 3 of us did. And together, me and Dinesh, we've done more than 20-25 freelance projects as 4th year students, 5th year students in college. Right? He was a day scholar, I was a hostelite.
Yeah.
And he was a unit sec designee and the zonal representative of NASA. And we successfully won what? We were the first to get ANDZ from our college. We were the first to get, and our juniors got LIK, and then the next year we got HUDPOK. So we were the people who started that. And he's an active swimmer, and he plays table tennis, and he's a ardent practitioner of
Pranic
healing. He's a very spiritual person. And between 24 to 25 alone, Pranav Mantra has designed and executed more than 2 lakh square foot of corporate and commercial spaces across Chennai. They have studios in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Coimbatore. And now Dinesh is working on creating sacred spaces in corporate industry, which will safely awaken human consciousness to a higher level. And he calls it creating Zen offices. So we are going to discuss about all of this today. And welcome, Dinesh. Thank you for accepting.
Thank you for calling.
So me and Dinesh go back a very long way. We studied in the same college, 2002 to 7. So fortunately, unfortunately, we've been together in a lot of things, partners in crime. So you are the unit sec and you are the unit secretary or a designee. Unit secretary, I was the LIK coordinator. We did the internship in the same city, Delhi. I was supposed to do in Chennai. He pulled me to Delhi. And after that, we came back. He learned 3D AutoCAD. I learned Studio Max in 3D during the internship. So we did a 2005. So we put together a portfolio, a shitty portfolio, and we went to all the architects, builders across the city of Madurai and Chennai and said we want to do 3D. And I vaguely remember we did one project for Balaji Subhash Chandran. They run a firm called Touchstone International. They did 100 crores recently. I even put a reel about that. So he was one of our first mentors. Like we did one, he gave us the first project. We didn't even know how to do it. Very, very shabbily we sent something. But he was kind enough to say that, he taught us how to do. He paid us money for that thing. He completed the project on his own. After that, what we did, another part-time job during thesis, we worked with Valliyappan sir. And he got placed in Total Environment. I got placed in TCS. I didn't take TCS. I went to Nottingham. He was supposed to come with me to Nottingham, but that year he couldn't come. So he worked here in Total Environment for 1 year, and then he came to Nottingham. So I was already his senior there. I wasn't a very good student. So my professor used to hate me because I'll rarely go to college. I'll submit it. I'll never submit things on time. But I knew how to strategize for him. He got 50% scholarship because of me. He still owes me one. And 50% of 10 lakhs, huh? Big money.
Not 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Around,
Then okay, 7.5 lakhs. You still owe me that. And after that, what happened was, so luckily for him, after 1 year, he did everything after 1 year I did. Until college, we were doing things together. From Nottingham, he joined the next year. He worked in the same fuel station part-time as a student. Then I worked in a firm, Saloria Architects, for 2 months. He also worked there. Then I worked in a firm called IWA. When I was coming back to India, he worked there. And after coming back to India also, I was working in a firm and he was about to come back and he joined as an associate architect. So I was a CEO and he was heading design interiors. 2017, he had to part ways. So he started Pranav Mantra on his own and 2020, I started Spaceman. So we really, really go a long way. And he's one of the he's good in corporate interiors. That's what he's done a lot of things. So he's a very functional and pragmatic designer. That's how I see him. He's a very calm, composed person compared to me. So that's my bit of personal intro about him. Thank you, Dinesh. And we'll straight away dive into the question answers. Okay. I've curated the questions in 4 different parts. Initially, we would like to know your personal journey and your personal and your starting journey so that most of them will be able to relate to it. And then about the projects, your teams and core insights about how you run your firm. And then your design philosophy, your current work, few questions on that. And finally, we have to advise youngsters. So we'll advise and then there's a surprise element at the end. So I'll start with the first question, that age-old question. Why architecture? What drew you into architecture or why you took architecture?
Architecture, like everyone, we didn't want to do science, didn't want to do mathematics. And we were good at sketching, good at drawing and all that. So we didn't have any major idea about how architecture is going to be as a profession and all that. So, but then we knew Tyagaraja Engineering College is a very good college because I was growing up in Madurai all my life. My father was a graduate of Tyagaraja Engineering College. And then we knew that architecture department in Tyagaraja Engineering College is very new. Only 4 years old when we started. So we started learning about architecture, understanding what it is, and then it was very curious. Something internally told, this is where my life is going to be. So I intuitively took, and then there was a lot of more than people who advised to take the course. There were a lot of people who said don't take the course. From my family, from the society, from friends, my dad's friends, everyone were like, this course has no future. I don't see any prospects, so please don't take that. Get into IT, get into civil, at least civil engineering and all that. But I think I did the right thing. I took the right course. I've been enjoying doing that, obviously.
So from Madurai, I think we've traveled a lot through architecture, almost all of India, and you've been active participant of NASA. We did our training from Delhi. You went to Bombay, and we studied and worked in Nottingham, London, Then I think you worked in Delhi also. When you came back from UK, you did
Yeah.
a really high-end residence in Akbar Road,
Yeah.
Delhi. And then you currently run practices in Chennai, Bangalore, Coimbatore. Now, my question is, how did these global exposures, right, traveling a lot, working there, studying there, how did that impact your current practice when you're doing in Chennai? Or what is your take on it?
Firstly, we wanted to get exposed to the world. That is why I went for my master's. When he first, we were a group of 5, 6 people in college. We were very curious. We wanted to always explore. So there was one guy who was very studious, Naresh. He was a friend. He was like, obviously, he wants to go, and he is very sure that he wants to go. And he is now a resident of UK, and he's living in the UK now. So he was like inspiring all of us, and we all were like very inspired to get exposed basically. Because coming from a very small town, Madurai, we don't have much exposure, and the project scale is also very less. So we wanted to immediately get exposed to the international market or even the universities, the culture, everything. But then the course fee was very high, and then getting into very good universities, and then we are not sure which university is good and all that. So I took time, and by the time it was too late. By then, these 5 guys went to the UK. Some of them went to Scotland. Shiva went to Nottingham, and then
Three of them went to Scotland.
3 of them went to
Ashwin,
Scotland,
Prem,
and he
and
went to Nottingham.
Nottingham.
And then for me, I already had a job from my placement, so I thought I'll take 1 year of break and understand what these guys are doing. Always for me, it is not like first time go in and then explore. For me, I need some first-hand experience, and I want to talk to people, understand what is happening now. For me, it was very good space that time because these guys were already there in the UK. They were going through the the initial process, I would say, struggle of establishing themselves in a new place, then getting exposed to the university, getting to know the course, how it works, how the university functions, how the language is, how the culture is, how the money is, and all that. But then there was I was, though I had this opportunity, I really wanted to go the first year itself, but then for me it just happened that I had to wait for 1 year. And then by the year there was some scholarship programs also where coming from the university, coming from British Council, coming from different sources. So I applied for all the scholarships. The thing about scholarships is, this also Shiva only said, you have to apply early. All of us are qualified for the scholarship because you anyways have a grade A in your graduation, and then everyone who has a grade A, you can apply for your scholarship, and they value that. Only that the scholarships are limited. If 100 people are applying, only 3 4 scholarships are available. So early you apply, better is the chance of getting. And then he said, talk to the university professor who you are going to be working with, get a recommendation letter from the university professor, apply it along with your scholarship. So my scholarship application had a professor's recommendation letter, my admission form, my college university degrees, and all that. He said, uh, you apply everything along with it. You do make sure that you're applying well ahead of time, you get the scholarship. And because it's limited, once your application is gone through, other people don't get. So that way, delaying it by 1 year and then applying for a scholarship and then getting through the scholarship was very useful.
You worked in Nottingham as well, right? Nottingham in design firms or no? Only in London you worked.
Only in London,
I
we
basically
worked
want to
with
know that work experience in London and Delhi and various places. How is it helping you in Chennai currently?
exposure wise. The project scale is very high. The budget in which they are working is very very high. When you're working for royal palaces, when you're working for very high end elite homes, elite villas and all that, in based in London, around London, in the Middle East, in Bahrain and all that, these were the projects my firm was working on. So the kind of money which they were handling, the kind of exposure they had to materials around the world. For example, this fabric would come from France, and then this chair would probably come from a company in London, and there would be some urns which will come from Jaipur in India. Some accessories will come from the Middle East. For just doing up one room, there will be items coming from all over the world, and budget was almost not even there in the picture. They don't care about the budget. It was just not even looked at. And then as long as they trust the designer, they were ready to give anything for her. And we worked with a very renowned designer who is Shailja Vahra, and working with her, alongside with her, understanding how she sees the space, how she perceives the space, how she's going to make up the space, all that was very magical. Even now looking back, if I get a chance, I would want to be with her, work with her, and then understand how she's doing.
Any of those practices you apply now?
Yes, yes, a lot. See what giving exclusive spaces to the client is what the client wants. If you are able to show them something she has never seen before, then he's ready to pay anything for it. So getting to that kind of exclusiveness and then creating spaces which are curated by you, which is not something anyone else can deliver, that kind of exclusive spaces, when you give, money actually becomes not a deciding criteria. You have to show them what you're delivering, the quality of work, the kind of materials, all that. So only then you get to that kind of clientele also. So I've seen that with some projects. I've seen it in some projects. We are also working on the projects which the market standards are, and then the budget is also in line with the market. But if you have to get exclusive, you need to get to that kind of exposure. The way they're managing things, also the way they buy and sell, that kind of
They have exclusive procurement process. The
process
procurement
is
process was
very,
very
very
unique.
unique. Procurement and then getting things from at a very low price and then selling it at a very high price, because there's design value, not just buying and selling. You're putting the right thing in the right place. For that, there's a huge value which you can add on to the selling price. So those things I really learned from there. And then more than design obviously we have some lot of exposure in design. Getting to a good layout we can easily do. Then how do you actually sell it? That thing I learned from there, and that experience definitely helped. And then coming back to Chennai market was completely different. It was operated by a very unorganized sector, and people were doing very random things. And then we saw a lot of opportunity there. Then we worked together. We formulated some, roadmap
SOPs,
and SOP
strategies
and all that. Then that was very new for the industry. A lot of people copied from what they did, and that was very, very useful. So having the exposure and then getting adapted to the market, both was the key.
So what, to summarize what he's saying is, this international exposure more than the design part, which most of us are good at. Like even young guys will be better than me in design. But what we really learned there, because we worked in the same firm, is the way they operated the entire design and build project, the way they sold the design to clients,
Yeah.
how they sourced the clients. And we worked with some of the richest people in the world.
The world, yeah.
Yeah, we can't name them, but I can honestly say after the formal session, I'll tell you, we worked with the people we worked with should be easily the top 100 richest people in the world. Okay, I was part of like 7 to 8 projects, and he would have been part of even more projects. He stayed there for 3 years. So to see that kind of money, to take bold steps, to travel from London to again Kuwait or Bahrain, working with the royal families. And as he didn't even joke when he said that. We were working in a palace where we were interior designers. The architect was from Scotland. We had a lighting designer from Italy and a flooring designer from Italy. There was a design project manager from Dubai. And then there was an overall project manager from Bahrain or Kuwait, right? And we were using XREF that time, AutoCAD and XREF. So imagine that's just one project, and we had so much exposure. So that kind of that exposure at such a young age, it really widened our thing. And Shailja, she is a celebrity designer.
Yeah.
Like she's a celebrity designer, and her brother Sanjay Sharma, he was managing the firm. Like he was here a month back, and he still, when he visits Chennai from London, he makes sure that he visits him and he visits us. He is very keen in seeing our progress. We had a really, really good first boss. So he gave us a lot of opportunity, and the way he planned the business or scaled it up, and I've seen ground up. I've been in the firm when there were hardly 8 people, and then I've seen it till 25. And when these guys were there, after I left, they were like 35, 50. And now they're a global firm. And so a lot of learning from there. So from there, when we came here to Chennai, luckily or unluckily for us, we've never worked in Chennai. I never did my training here. I was supposed to do my training here, but we went to Delhi. We just wanted to go to Delhi and Dubai. That was our plan in the fourth year.
Yeah.
We didn't do both. He went to Bangalore, I went to UK, and then he also came to UK. And by the time we came back to Chennai, it was very alien. That's why I keep saying architecture is a global profession, but it has to be acted locally. Think global, act local. So when I came back in 2011, it was all new for me. I didn't know to do a toilet layout. I
Yeah.
didn't know how the bylaws work, the materials work. I didn't know how to do BOQ, nothing, because the entire process was different. So at that time, it felt very intimidating because you are on profile. You can say that you've been an architect for 4 years with international experience, but here you can't even do a toilet design in Chennai. That was a ground reality. But he should have faced the same thing when he
Yeah.
came back. But again, what we focused on was, okay, we've come back and we have to restart. So here is a market. Okay, we know how we did it for one city. So now here in this market, how do we sell design? How do we strategize the execution? How do we cost it? How do we complete it on time? How do we create a portfolio? How do we create a bloody identity for ourselves? That was the focus. So we never followed any process that any architect in Chennai would have traditionally followed. So everything was new for us. In fact, we were reinventing the wheel, you can say that. But then we knew what worked well for us, and we were able to sell it, and we sold it like anything. Like at one point of time, we used to have 150 plus people in our firm.
Yeah.
I was a CEO, design head, architecture. He was interior designer.
Leads was not even a problem. We had
We used
so
to have like 10
many
leads a
leads
day.
every day.
Like we did a lot of writing, and it was a proper teamwork.
Yeah.
The founder, he did a tremendous job. But apart from that, we put in the right people, and we also ensured that we did a teamwork. And to be honest, I'm not even making up on Saturdays. Why I say don't not on Saturdays? Friday is easy because Saturdays are the most busiest days for us. Most of our clients will prefer to have a meeting on Saturdays. There will be literally 10 clients. Who's who of Chennai will be waiting outside in the lobby, in our office lobby, to get a meeting room to discuss with us. Like we'll have fights saying, no, I want this meeting room now, and you have to do meeting. So Saturday when we start at 9 a.m., we'll go on in meeting prospective clients, selling design, almost till the evening, 7, 8. And we used to work for like 15 hours, 16 hours a day. Now this is, I'm talking about 10 years back, 2014, 15, 16. So the key is to come up with your own systems and process that works well for you. If you have people to guide you, you can do that. But if you don't have anything, wherever you work, no learning will go for a waste. So you have to adapt. Okay, now let me take you to that moment when you started Pranav Mantra, right?
Yeah.
So you were always employed. You had a lot of experience. Though you were employed, you were an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So 2017, right? 16, 17. So what was the mindset like? What point did you want to start? And how was the initial 6 months or 7 months? Of course, you had a lot of experience, so that's a baggage. So I take us through that journey.
Like how you guys are saying you immediately started up after you completed your, it was not that for me. I went for my master's and then I came back. I worked in Delhi for 1 year. I worked in Bahrain for 1 year. And then I came back to Chennai. I asked him, he said, good to work somewhere to know the market. So we worked together. And then at that point, we also had this discussion, how many years do you want to be as a part of this team? 3 years is what I said. And I ended up working 2 years and 10 months, almost reached those 3 years. But during those 3 years, we met almost more than 500 people in the Chennai market, new clients, prospective clients, actual clients who we got them converted to clients. But so much of exposure, talking to new people and who are actually buying, who had a requirement of getting their home done, offices done, interiors done, whatever. So at that point, we internally discussed and said we will lead one vertical per person, and then he was doing the architecture part. And I thought, since I have this exposure in the interior design thing, and that's where the money was, and I clearly knew that is where the money was, and then I wanted to do that like over. And then went in, we had this interior design vertical which I was doing, and then we split that also into commercial, corporate, and residential. And the residential part was very taxing. So even that point, second year, I understood that it's very difficult. Then I said I'll go into commercial, corporate, interiors. Exposure to so many people, 500 people at least, and then talking. My good part is I have this exposure, and then I have traveled. I've worked with people. I've worked with, like he said, I've interacted with the most richest people in the world. And then interacting with those kind of people also gives you a little bit of exposure on how to talk to this clientele, how to interact with them, how to make them feel good, during the interaction, all that. And then we were also constantly learning from our bosses, and then interacting with the team internally. Shiva and Arun also were very good. So that took me to a state where when I start talking to people, I make sure that they like me. I get to understand what they want, where they are coming from, what is their intention of meeting me, and that kind of I also have a spiritual background, so I can talk to people, understand what the soul really wants. I can connect to people at a very soul level. If you look at what you're here for, and then that kind of interaction was very easy. Slowly, I got to that point where I can interact with people very easily. And then starting Pranav Mantra, since I was almost 3 years. I've already completed 3 years in that company. I wanted to start up on my own.
He was
But
32, la?
yeah, I was 32 when I started up. But then what I realized was like he said, we had a very busy schedule in office for 3 years. The last year was crazy, like 5 meeting rooms and everyone booking those meeting rooms for a meeting to happen. The client is waiting. I am also here, but the meeting room is not there, not available. So we had literally so many meetings happening on those weekends, and we were traveling, and all that was happening. So many leads coming in, new clients. We interact with new clients every day. So at that point, when I resigned, then I knew that all this had a lot of back work which they had done. That is why they had so many leads. When I was on my own, finding a new lead was very difficult. Though I had this exposure, though I had know how to do projects, I know how to make money out of those projects. I can successfully hand over, but then how to get those leads? Like you were selling, I know everything about how to deliver a project, how to get a very good review. For most of the project reviews which I got for my previous firm, I was working. So I made sure that every client who I work, they give me a review for the company. Now, getting to new clients was very, very difficult at that point. That is a struggle which I also went through. But then, luckily, one thing, because I had so much of dedication work which I was doing when I was working for these 3 years, all these clients became my very good friends. So, slowly, my clients who were with me in my first few years of work in Chennai, they became my repeat clients. That is how even now all my clients are clients who I had back then, and then they are referring me to new clients and new clients and new clients. For me, for example, one corporate client who I worked with when I was in the previous firm, he has given me around 12 projects in the last 10 years. And then there was another client who we did one office for him, and then he gave me 5 offices projects in Chennai, and then he took me to Hyderabad. He made me do his home in Hyderabad, and then he helped us set up an office in Hyderabad. And then this client only took me to Coimbatore, and we set up an office for him in Coimbatore. So building relationships, making sure that we deliver, and making sure that you have the intention, and make sure that the client also knows your intention. We want to do good work for you. That energy hits him, definitely. How far, even if it's a very difficult situation, you're not getting your payment, you're not able to deliver on time, or he's having a very unrealistic expectation, even then, even if you're not able to deliver, the intention will definitely hit him. Not getting anxious or not getting irritated in a very difficult situation is where you want to prove that your intention is very pure. That is where I think, honestly, I have not done so much marketing. I tried marketing after that. After starting up, I did some Google marketing and all that, and I tried meeting new clients, having cold calls and all that. But more than anything, repeat clients and people who are referring you to new projects, and then they are coming back to you for their new projects. That is how it actually works. Initial exposure, definitely marketing is required. I've reached a stage where marketing, I really don't need marketing at this point. My clients will talk for me. My projects, when they walk in, they'll ask who did this, and then they'll come back. If my client wants a new project, he'll definitely come back to me. I don't have any doubts that he'll go back in the market searching for a new architect, trying to find out what that thing, definitely, I'm sure.
So, to summarize the key points that he said, First thing, as I was saying, he was 32 with almost 10 years of experience, right? Yeah, we graduated in 7 and he started his firm in
17.
2017. That's 10 years. But still, if you listen to him, he was saying I was struggling for leads because it was not the exposure, the design, all those strategies were there. But then the most important aspect was marketing. Unfortunately for him, he was not exposed to marketing in that firm
Yeah.
because he was the design head. He was meeting the clients from the day the lead came, but he didn't know the process of bringing the lead to the client. But that's how the large organizations work.
Yes.
We were a firm with more than 100 plus people, so everybody cannot do everything. Luckily for me, I was also not exposed directly to marketing, but I knew the strategies because I was a CEO. I had that exposure which he kind of didn't have. But as he said, it's all about doing those one project, two project, and after a point of time, if you keep doing good works, you need not spend anything any extra effort or time or money for marketing, and it will keep coming. But that critical momentum, right, the initial 3 years or 4 years, 3 years I would say, if you're there in the industry for 3 years and if you're profitable, and then there's no looking back unless you go for big time. Okay, unless you guys go for big time, there's no reason why an architecture or design firm will not go there. So yeah, so that was the moment he started. Now we'll move on to the next one. We'll kind of have a rapid fire kind of. You said that you've done more than 2 lakh square feet in a single year. So how do you manage scale and quality? I am more of a guy who will do a lot of small and medium projects. I'll do it with quality because things are under my control. I can do even 30 small projects at a time. But if you give me one large project, then I might not find the same ease which I have for a small project. So quality and at scale, 3 strategies or anything or practices you follow.
See, team building is a very important part. After you reach that first project and second project, you have perfected your process, you know how to get it done if you are there. After that, it is about educating your team only. You have to bring your guys, then you have to sit with them, understand, tell them this is how I did it, this is what is required, how will you do it? Then usually this guy who you are mentoring, he will have a different way of doing it. You have to not force him the way you want it to be done. You have to listen to him, understand. He will tell you a different way of doing the same thing. I can only focus on the result. I'll tell him this is what I want. How will you do it? And there are 5 guys in my organization, each of them as good as me in terms of executing. Design, obviously, we're working on very big projects nowadays. We are working on around the minimum would be around 25,000 square feet. Then it can go anywhere between 40,000 square feet, 80,000 square feet, 1 lakh square feet projects. So now I need people who can do exactly what I am doing. I cannot be there all the time. One project is in Coimbatore, one project is in Hyderabad, one project is in Bangalore, one project is in Chennai. So I can only travel. Maybe once a month I can go around and then come back. But then instead of me being in one project all the time, I built a team of 5 people who can do exactly what I would do if I was there on site. So mentoring them, listening to them, they are with you for some time, they understand. Once you build the team, then you clearly tell him, this is what I want. We show them visuals, we show them videos, we show them finished project videos, finished project photographs. And then we design, we are very strong. We do the design part, we do the specifications, we do the material selections, swatches, colors, everything we give them as a booklet. That is what we use. We give them a booklet and we tell them, deliver this to me. And then once you have the team, obviously scaling up becomes very easy. Even now, if I have to repeat the same year, 24-25 was my very busiest year. I did more than 6 projects, huge projects. And then if I have to repeat this year, or then even scale it up and make it bigger this year, I know the way.
So it's basically the team and the
Mentoring the team, and then listening
having
to
a
the
booklet
team.
of what is happening, and then making them do the same thing that you will do.
Process.
Process and teaching them.
Once you have the process, refine the process, keep refining the process. See if you can cut down few steps, make it even more efficient, and then allowing them to also come up with ideas, listening to them.
Thank you, Dinesh. The next question is, you obviously have done a lot of workspaces, office spaces. Only 3 things that you look into before starting an office space design. If you have to short them and say only 3 things, these 3 are important, non-negotiable for me in an office design, what will they be?
Aesthetics. It has to, when it comes to an office space where more than 1,000 people are going to be using it, 80% of people have to like it. That is where your success is. You just the reception and then the common areas, when they come in, they need to actually appreciate that, wow, that you need to create.
So that wow factor.
Wow factor, that is the first thing. Second thing is, in a client's perspective, it has to be very profitable for them. Every inch of space is money, actually. So either it has to have aesthetic value or it has to have commercial value. Number of people, you increase the number of headcount in terms of if it is a BPO or a person who's working towards density. If it's a person who's working towards creating quality spaces where they can improve the efficiency of the space, then that efficiency, density, efficiency, and workability.
So wow factor, efficiency.
Then third thing, energy of the space also. You have various ways you can elevate the energy of the space. Colors, use of the right textures, use of the lighting, use of light elements in the right space. And then we also make sure the intent is right, keeping kind of spaces, collaborative spaces where people can interact and all that. So creating the vibe.
So wow factor should be there. That's the aesthetic part. And the second one is efficiency. And the third is you need to have more energy.
Energetic.
You have it through architectural features.
Yeah, there are a lot of elements which you can like.
My next question was actually about this. What is this Zen office? How does it differ from a commercial office space that I will do? And what is the Zen office that you do?
See, we'll keep it interactive, okay? What do you think is a major problem in an office space? Get into DLF, there are like 120 offices, all multinational companies are inside there. What is the major problem they face in any office space?
He's asking you guys a question.
Yeah. What is the major problem you think they face? Each office has more than 500, 600 people working inside, a huge office space. If they have to solve a very major problem, what is the problem they have to solve for their employees?
How many of you have done office space design?
You've been in offices?
You've been in offices?
Yeah. So
what is the problem?
What is the problem they have to solve? It's too congested. Not every office is congested. Few offices are congested, but not everyone. That depends on the density which they want to achieve. That is not a problem to solve, actually. In terms of employee perspective, if it is very monotonous, circulation, design perspective, think of it from an employee perspective. You are working there.
I'll tell my take on it. Offices are spaces where we spend crores and crores of money, infrastructure, real estate, interiors and everything. And then we want people to come there and work so that we can have productivity. People will work with focus. But more often than not, office spaces are the places where people can get easily distracted. Like you'll be working and somebody will be like, "Wow, coffee kudiga polam," and somebody will be like, "Wow, tea kudiga polam." I mean, TTL ada polam. Or somebody will be shouting 3-4 workstations down the line. Somebody will be shouting on the phone, very loud la பேசிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. So these are things. I worked in MNC, right? I worked in L&T, which was inside DLF, right? I went there and I've never worked in such a big organization. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி எல்லாமே it was all small. First few weeks I understood that okay, I am the guy who will get distracted easily. இப்போ சார் வரும்போது கூட I got distracted. Imagine நான் ஒரு 8 hours ஒர்க் பண்ணணும் and I'll be easily distracted. பின்னாடி எவனாவது போனால் காலி, இங்கே எவனாவது பேசினா காலி, அங்கே ஏதாவது நடந்தால் காலி. ஸோ டிஸ்ட்ராக்ஷன் வாஸ் த பிக்கெஸ்ட் ப்ராப்ளம் ஃபார் மீ இன் ஓப்பன் ஆஃபீஸ் செட்டப். அண்ட் அதுக்கப்புறம் த செகண்ட் திங், பிகாஸ் we are an environmental designer, ventilation was a big issue. Lighting கூட பரவாயில்ல, you will have artificial lighting, you can't expect natural lighting in a deep office space. Pragmatic-ஆக இருக்கணும். But then we were having ventilation issues were there because CO2 levels will go up.
Yeah.
You'll yawn. You'll want to take a break every half an hour, 45 minutes, and that puts a speed breaker.
Yeah.
So for me, those two are the biggest red flags in an office space today.
These are, again, we are talking it from an architect's perspective.
User.
It's a user perspective, design perspective. Yeah.
I think getting to the perspective of what you were explaining, the Zen modes, the vibe and all that. So basically, when an individual gets into an office, he needs to first of all feel at home to work. And when does that come? That could be a lot of factors. One is, of course, you cannot choose your boss. You'll have to work with them, like they say, a parent boss, then choose it. I think a lot of environmental, there has to be harmony. There has to be some kind of a mindset which has to. The mindsets can come based on lot of environmental. Can come through designs. Can come through. If there's too much of sound, it can kind of distract you. There's too much of anger which comes out because of the environment. Can disturb you. So you're probably culminating all this into.
Yeah. You're very close. Okay.
I want to add one point.
Yeah.
Maybe the silent atmosphere first which will prefer to work when 8 hours we do the productivity.
Yeah.
Which is most important is that I should not get distracted by us, the hurt.
Yeah.
But expectation is silent.
Okay.
Silence.
Silence.
Acoustic.
Okay.
So I should not, when I worked in same related kind of things,
Yeah.
career gap.
Okay.
But I felt when I'm silent, my atmosphere is silent.
Your
my
productivity
was
is very high.
My team productivity also now is the same.
Yeah.
What I prefer to give is to my employees in office is the silent and coloring nature. That also I prefer because that will make me into more vibe in always in a positive atmosphere on this. That
Okay.
both things I prefer. I mean, it is individual.
Okay. Good. You were very close. You were also very close. Basically,
what is Zen office?
okay, we'll go back to what it is. We are trying to create very sacred and spaces. So, if you look at what the corporate industry is going towards now, wellness is the most important thing which they want to give to the employees. Any office, it's around a 6 billion business this year. They have brought it down to if they want to create an environment which is stress free. Anger is a product of stress. When you're stressed with your work, you go out, you want to distract yourself. That is where you want to go out for a coffee, smoke. That is exactly when you are peaceful here and you're doing very productive work. You don't have to get distractions. You don't want to be going out of that space. And from an employer perspective, he wants the office to be very, very productive. So to boost productivity in a space, what do you do? To create with an designer's perspective, how do you create a very productive space? How do you create a very calm space? So those are things which we are now exploring. How to create these spaces which vibrate in a different frequency. So stress has a frequency in which vibrates. Anger has a very lower frequency in which
So
vibrates.
when you say this, how do you bring that in terms of architectural materials or surfaces or textures? How do you blend this? This idea of yours is good to listen, but
Yeah.
how do you apply that using these architectures?
So we are researching a lot of things. Okay, the human mind is very capable of creating a very noisy environment, or it is also capable of creating a very serene environment. Nothing more than a human mind actually. But how do you induce a human mind, and how do you make sure that all these can be achieved in an environmentally cohesive way? Okay, so basically there are some elements which you can introduce, some textures which you can introduce, some colors are very soothing, some lighting. The in lighting you can elevate the frequency of the space. The volume of the space also plays a very important. Some forms have very like very sharp edges, creating very smooth corners, rounded ceiling, soothing colors. These are different elements in design which can be used in creating a space which is vibrating at a higher level. So basically, what we are trying to sell is a space where stress cannot exist on a normal day. If you are raising your human consciousness to a higher level, where stress doesn't exist, that is where we are going to try to take you to. In a very personal level, if you're able to train the mind to meditate every day, be calm and then composed, your productivity increases very, very much, especially when you're doing very creative jobs where intuition plays a very important role. There, end of the day, training humans is the key. That is where we are all evolving towards. But then, as architects and designers, what do we do? How do we create this kind of spaces? That is where the research is at this point in time. I'm talking to you as co-designers, co-creators. But when I pitch it to a client, I pitch it in a very different way, where they are actually wanting to hear that I can create a space without stress at all. No anger exists in that kind of space. So that is what they are wanting to hear. But then creating that as a designer is, we cannot give them a pill, right? We cannot give them some elements which you can place it and then end up saying that this place will not have stress because you have these elements in your place. That doesn't work like that. But then we are working on that. We are doing deep research on that. We are creating one way in which we are doing it is we are creating Zen gardens inside spaces, which means like how you have a games room, like how you have a gym. We are having sacred spaces inside offices where people can walk in, whatever frequency they are vibrating in. They have a very stressful job. They have a very, very stressful boss. They have something which is called as a very unrealistic target to meet, and they are all like very stressed. 15 minutes they walk into that space. We have like 2000 elements in that space, which they can actually sit, touch, experience, explore. When they walk out of the space, they have like 10 minutes of each of these corners where they can de-stress, and then they can go back to their space. Then at that point, their vibrations come.
I know why
very
that
calm.
client came to you 12 times. நீ பேசும்போது எனக்கே லைட்டா
See, this is actually energy downpour. Like, this is like the truth. This is the future of offices.
They have these pods, right?
Yeah, they have these pods where you can. Yeah, there's so many ideas. Which you can
நடுப்புற
generate.
என்னென்ன சொல்றான் பாருங்க. But yeah, as long as you are able to sell it through the architectural thing, yeah, you found your niche. I wanted to ask you a few more questions, but you answered everything in one single shot.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you translate into design, light, texture, இதெல்லாம், and your design philosophy, or how do you educate your client and get? I think all the 4 questions you answered in one.
As long as the intention is there, a lot of things will fall in place. This texture, I'm finding it easy for me to use and explore, because that is a demand in the market. Everyone is stressed. Everyone has unrealistic targets. Every company wants their employee to perform 10 times of their capacity. How is it possible? You are anyways, pushed to deliver. And how do we get there and then get this win-win for both of them? This guy should not be stressed. This guy needs higher productivity. How do you help both of them? And then you are there in between and then creating these spaces for them.
Last part of the first segment, advice to young architects. So if somebody is starting out new, they've started recently, they might be a solopreneur, or they started 2-3 years back, like what will be your advice? You can tell whatever they want.
For me personally, I did not start early. I started only 10 years later. So I had a very good network. I have a boss who is working who has his office in London. He's still mentoring me. I can call him for advice. And he has his team members working in my office right now. And he is always asking about what is the market in India and all that. So I know how they work. I know how it works in Delhi. I know how it works in Chennai. I worked with very efficient people like Shiva. Shiva is also very, very efficient when it comes to work. So that kind of experience was there for me. And again, a very good clientele who I already had before I started my firm. So these guys are, feeding me with projects consistently. So for me, I didn't start young. So I don't know how to advise you guys, because you're starting very young. But intention plays a very important role. You clearly write your intent and keep it very, very sacred. Like, this is what I want to deliver. I make sure that my client is happy, and at any point in time, I am only giving him the best. That intention, you keep it clear and make sure that your client also knows that intent. He is also clearly informed that this is what I want you to experience by what I am delivering. That point, you make it very, very clear. Even when you are talking about payment issues and all that, I've also had the payment issues with clients. A few clients did not pay. But then even for those clients, I made sure that the intent is very clear. I want you to be successful with your business. Whatever you're setting up, I want it to be very prosperous and successful. We are coming with that kind of intent. So he, back of his mind, knows that this guy is doing good for me all the time. So he'll not do anything bad for you. That is what I believe. Whatever you give, whatever goes around comes around. Whatever you give is what comes back to you. That intention, you have to make sure, even if it's a very difficult situation, you don't have money to pay your salaries, you don't have money to pay your rent, and that guy has not paid you. Even in that situation, don't get irritated and curse that guy. Make sure that even if you don't even open your mouth, he will receive that intent. That energy will hit him, definitely. So getting to that state of mind is very, very important. Write it down. It comes with a lot of practice.
Last month we had Kishore. Kishore. I asked him the same question. How many of you remember what he answered? He kept telling about patience.
Yeah.
Okay, he kept telling about patience. You are saying the same thing in a different way, at a different strata. You are saying the intent. Like, you need not even speak. He was saying, be calm and speak kindly. Speak politely. Now you are saying, don't even think about this thing.
Yeah, that is the highest level of evaluation, right? Evaluation happens when you're hitting someone. That is the first stage. You will get to a stage where you will not hit anyone, even if he is harming you. And then you will start verbally abusing him. Second stage is that. Third stage is when you don't even verbally abuse him, you just think about him negatively because he has not paid your money. Then you reach that stage where you're not hitting him, verbally abusing him, not even thinking bad about him. Then you reach a stage where you genuinely are only intending to give him good. That kind of energy will definitely hit your client.
So the point he's trying to make is not to do unpaid work.
Yes.
Even in that situation, the thing is, you have to have the intention of what you're going to do. That clarity should be there.
Yes.
Like, this is how I am going to do it. Even if I am facing difficulties, this is how I want to do, and this is what I will deliver. And other person cannot determine what I deliver through my firm.
Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
take
Yes.
it as a takeaway.
And you should make sure that firmly, I want my money. That is also there. End is that. It's not that you're doing free work or giving him some, any free thing, and then you're cribbing that he's not paid, and that I did good work and he did not pay. That, don't get to that cribbing mode at all. Make sure that you get your money. Make sure that you're delivering good. So to get to this kind of state is where we should be focusing.
Fine. One additional question to you. So now we are talking about a lot of intent, intent, the positive intent, or making people understand, the aura, the energy, or the vibe, or whatever you're saying. Now, of course, you're not going to meet everybody who will be on the same page, right? You would have met people who might not be able to relate to what you're saying. Have you met such prospective clients or clients? And in that cases, how do you handle? Because you are a firm believer of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I can see that you are a firm believer of your own philosophies that you translated into design. When you meet people who are not able to relate to it, how do you handle it?
Second meeting, I'll understand. I'll drop it. That's it. I drop it. That's it. See, if you'll understand first point, you'll understand talking to him. You'll understand. First stage is I didn't get into a project which I don't think it's in my vibe. But if I by chance get into a project and I meet only one partner and there are few partners who are not in the same vibe, I get to there and then I understand, and that point, there is always a point where you can pull out of a project. I pull out. Because
so when there's no compatibility, you pull out.
Yes. You can say this stage is over. From this stage onwards, I'm not interested.
I say the same thing. It's not the good projects that you do, it's the bad ones that you avoid to define your success.
Yes.
Last part of the thing. Okay, 10 questions. Just answer what comes to your mind first, right? Okay, one word to define your design style.
I'm user oriented. I don't have a style. I go with my client.
Client style is your
Client
style.
style. Yeah. What his want is my.
Okay, sketching or digital tools? What do you prefer?
Sketching.
Sketching any day.
I've not used my computer for last 2 years.
Okay. Your favorite building in the world?
I like Calatrava, the flowy forms.
Santiago Calatrava. Your favorite building in Chennai? Architecturally well designed.
Chennai is yet to come, and Hyderabad has a few buildings, but Chennai doesn't have.
So one city you wish to design a space in, which you haven't done so far. You want to design in that city.
I wish to do a project in Madurai.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've done in Sivakasi. Madurai.
Not even one in Madurai.
Madurai, I grew up, I studied in Madurai. I have to do a project in Madurai.
Furniture or lighting, what sets the tone for a space?
Lighting, definitely.
Lighting. How will you relate minimalism to your way of Zen spaces? How is minimalism related to it?
See, avoid clutter. Avoid anything which is noise. Anything which you put in has to have a reason behind putting it in.
Your most used material, which you might, I'm overusing it, but I still will use it. What is your favorite material?
I've been using wood a lot, and I will keep using it, I think.
What kind of wood?
We use pine wood in our projects nowadays. A lot of pine wood.
One design trend you wish this should disappear from the world. The overdo பண்றாங்க நல்லாவே இல்லை. I hate it, or I don't like it, or this is not solving the problem. Any design trend or material or anything.
So again, too much of glass in buildings, definitely. Chennai, it doesn't make any sense.
What fuels your creative blocks? I'll give you 3 options: coffee, green tea, silence, or water.
What I use, silence. Most of the
coffee,
time.
tea la illa, thanni la illa. டீ செலவே இல்லை ஆஃபீஸில்.
Silence.
வா டீ குடிக்க போனா வா பொண்ணா சைலண்டாக இருந்துட்டு வரலாம். The next one is your final project, hypothetical. If you had to leave a message to humanity, what would that message?
In the final project, what is the
next
message?
project is your final project. எல்லாருமே என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, my best project is the next project ன்னுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி next project is your final project. What all will you do to say that this is my message to the world? I'm not going to design after it.
Okay. I will make sure that every single element in that design which we make will raise the consciousness of humans. will make sure even if I'm sitting here touching this or walking on top of a floor or touching a floor surface or a light which is being used in the space, that will make sure that it is touching them internally and then raising the consciousness of the person. There has to be a meaning for every single thing which I'm using. So for that, there's a lot of research to do, and it's very high ask.
That's the last project.
Yeah. I'll take time to do that last project.
Fine. I'm done with my questions. Thank you, Dinesh.
Thank you. It is.
அப்படியே ஒரு மாதிரி அமைதியாக இருக்குல்ல. Zen mode.
See, it's been a long time since we met actually. 2017 we had to part, and then
And trust me, he was not like this at college. Huh?
Yeah. College is a totally different person. Like everyone evolves. I know he's also not the same person who was in college. Every time since COVID, I've been following what he's been doing. Very phenomenal work. I wanted to be talking to him, be with him, because we used to call ourselves as partners only back then in college. In final year in college, we said partner. So, but then we had our journey, and then we wanted time for ourselves. And I always wanted to come back and talk to him, but then he was also busy. I was also busy doing what I was doing.
Audience questions, anybody can ask.
From the little knowledge which I gained over the years, people get the wrong understanding. Zen means silence. He's also interpreting it's his own way of looking at things. But Zen does not mean silence alone. Silence is only a component of Zen mode, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. So if that is the case, when you're designing a room with the Zen, it not necessarily mean silence alone in the office, correct? It can also be serenity. It can be some kind of even a mild music can kind of give you that kind of. It is not silence. It is not zeroing in on silence.
That's what there are around 2,000 elements inside the space, probably double the size of this room. And then there are like so many elements, which is like a singing bowl, sound making bowl, or a instrument which can bring the frequency of flowing water, or something like an acupuncture mat or an oxytocin mat, where you step on it, you feel that hormones generated internally. And then some mild music, a pyramid where you can sit down, meditate, a chart where you can do some activity which can provoke some kind of happiness hormones in your system, a small coloring which you can do. So these elements, actual activities, when an employee walks in, he can do all these activities, whichever he is inclined towards. If he wants to do nothing and sit down only, there's a corner for that. If he wants to engage himself in a sound related activity, he can do that. So we are trying to relate and make so many different activities which we can do in that space. Imagine a games room where you can put a TT table, a carom table, a foosball. Similarly, we are creating a space where you can experience this. And it's not only silence. I'm not talking about silence. Activity.
No, you did not. I'm just clarifying it so that people get the clarity. Because Zen is something people interpret for it to be silence alone. It's not just silence. It's actually the serenity of the mind or calmness of the mind. Or you are, and like you rightly said, you are in terms with the situation around you. You do not kind of get into a rebellious mode, right?
See, end of the day, when you have to perform something which is above your caliber, at this point in time, you don't have the capacity to deliver, then immediately we get stressed. And then someone is expecting so much from you, which you're not able to give back. At that point also, you get stressed. And that stress will get to anger, or sometime depression, sometime, not feeling good about yourself, and then putting yourself down. All these things will keep coming. So at that point in time, you get into a low energy vibe. For you to rise above that kind of vibrations and be in a space where you're peaceful and calm, this space will help. And we are only in a process of developing this. Zen office, a person who is okay to allow us to explore the whole office design in that aspect, allowing us to use materials, lighting, specifications, finishes of tables, chairs, and everything, furniture, accessories, artworks, whatever you see, whatever you feel, whatever you speak, the kind of sound you can. So all that, if he's allowing us to explore, then we have a lot of ideas to explore in the whole office. If that is not available, then at least give us a space which we can do all these, which your employees can come in, experience. It's not a meditation room. Basically, it is a room where they can come in and experience. During the end of the experience, they raise their consciousness level from here to here. When they are
So what happened was July 8th was his birthday. I have to tell this.
Wow.
So July 8th. So we have one WhatsApp group, college WhatsApp group. As you grow older, the message frequencies come down. Like even you would have won an Oscar award, nobody will even like it. The only day when the group is filled is happy birthdays. That's a happy anniversary, happy birthday. Even today we have one of our friends' birthday, so it will be happy birthday. So now I don't bother replying to it. I'll do it at the end. I'll say happy birthday, I'll send a personal message, that's all. So he called on his birthday to me. Okay. I was like, yeah, நீயே call பண்ற. And we are speaking after many years.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. We are speaking after almost 1.5 2 years. This happened this July. So he called and I said, birthday call பண்ணு. ஆமா எனக்கு இன்னைக்கு birthday அப்படினா. சரிடா happy birthday. Now what will I say? I thought I'll message in the end ன்னு சொன்னேன். Then he told, I want to come and heal you அப்படினா. He's a pranic healer.
Yeah.
I am an atheist.
He has grown into an atheist. I've grown into a very proficient
I was an
healer.
atheist always, but I firmly believe that there's no God, okay, and I don't need a purpose to look about. But then I'll respect other people's belief system. I'm mature enough to not make fun of other people's belief system. The logic is I don't believe in 100 gods. Many people don't believe in the balance 99. They believe only in their God, right? Logic. So he said, I want to heal you. Can I come? Same day you came, the next day. He said, I want to heal you. I said, okay, fine, come. Then I said, what should I do? I've seen him do pranic healing few years back, 8 years back. I've seen him. At that time, I used to make fun of him also. But this time, I was like, okay, somebody is spending time, okay, calling you, who's interested in your welfare. That intention was very important. He's saying, I want good for you. Same way, like Prasad keeps advising me to go to Hanuman temple on Saturday. He says, நீ போங்க உங்களுக்கு நல்லா இருக்கணும். So he told first 2 weeks I didn't go. Third week he said, நீ போகாட்டி பரவாயில்ல வீட்லயாவது போக சொல்லுங்க அப்படின்னா. No, my family goes because I respect the என்ன சொல்ல care that they have for me. Because it's very hard to get people. At 40 I'm saying this, it's very hard to get people to think about you and talk to you. He said he came to my office and இதே மாதிரி தான் இது பண்ணான். Then he told, you close your eyes, take deep breath and lie down. என் ஆஃபீஸில் 2 bean bag இருக்கும் because I always sleep in the office at least 1 hour. So I was doing it. Like 1.5 2 hours. I didn't sleep. I was only taking deep breaths and he was doing, if you understand pranic healing, he was aligning my energy and everything.
I was removing stress, I was removing anger, removing everything.
I was like,
cleaning
there was
aura.
he played some music, okay?
Yeah,
That was
quite a lot actually.
No.
Quite a lot.
There was some music that he was playing, which was good. I was on the deep breathing and I was focusing on that. So after everything, எவ்வளோ நேரம் ஆச்சுன்னு தெரியல, ஒரு 1.5 மணி நேரம் 2 மணி நேரம், I was like translate.
It took him to the astral body, not the physical body. He just gone out of the physical body.
அதுக்கப்புறம் there are 2 things that I really have to tell you. So I'm a firm atheist, okay? I'm a rationalist. If there is no science in it, I will not believe in it. If somebody tells that this is how it works, then I'll believe in it. Okay, I'm that kind of brain. So after everything, he said like, how did you feel? Did you see anything or something? I told him I saw some ஒரு மாதிரி purple colorல ஒரு ball light இப்படிலாம் வந்தது அப்படின்னா. He had like 3 books in front of him. Like 3 big books, pranic healing books, textbooks. Like he's a master pranic healer. Like அவங்க இதில் வந்து இது like a PhD மாதிரி. He showed ஒரு ஓப்பன் பண்ணி இந்த புக்கு பாருங்க பாரு போட்டிருக்கு பாரு. So it's very rare that people see this on the first thing. So you had that opportunity.
You when you meditate, you see colors. If you are an evolved soul using this physical body, during the meditation phase, you see these blue and purple and green.
It was there for first 10-15 minutes. After that, it vanished. I tried to bring it, then it didn't happen. It's natural.
Yeah.
So there are 2 points here. An atheist can believe in pranic healing, and an atheist can be an evolved soul also.
Also,
how
And
does
maybe you're not an atheist also.
very evolved soul using this physical body, not yet realize that he is evolved soul. A lot of
sometimes it
lifetimes.
also becomes. You picked a word. Probably we are digressing from the entire discussion,
but you picked a word, you want to stick on to it, though you're not.
Oh, no, I wanted to tell a particular point. That's why I'm saying. Then after that, we were discussing, and then he was discussing. I was talking about a lot of things. I was talking about ADHD. I told him like, adapati you have to understand because you're meeting people, you're healing people. Mental health is important. அதெல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டு. Then he made me do another thing. இந்த தடவை உட்கார்ந்துக்கிட்டு அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செஷன் மெயின் செஷன் முடிஞ்சு you close your eyes அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he did something. இப்படி கை வச்சு
Yeah, the affirmation. We can do the affirmation.
He
also.
had one ஒரு English, can't call it a mantra, it was an affirmation or something. He said have your hands like this and keep pushing up. After a point of time I couldn't push up. I literally felt someone was pushing it down. அவன் என்ன சொன்னான்னா இதான் உன்னோட
This is the connection with your higher self. Yeah.
எனக்கு நல்லா இருந்தது ஆக்சுவலாக தள்ள பார்க்குறேன் என்னால் தள்ள முடியல பட் வாட் எவர் ஹி வாஸ் சேயிங் லைக் ஹி வாஸ் சேயிங் குட் திங்ஸ் ஹி வாஸ் சேயிங் குட் திங்ஸ் தட் ஆர் குட் ஃபார் மீ ஐ வாஸ் லைக் ஆக்சுவலி என்ஜாயிங் தட் திங்.
So that is intuition actually. That is the divine energy which is coming down. When you do this affirmation, there's a lot of divine downpour. I was making him feel that and he was also feeling that. I was feeling very good because I want good for him. That intent is always there. Like he's...
So, coming back to architecture, why I was speaking that about this is compatibility or acceptance is very important. You will not always meet people who always agree to the styles that you say, your design philosophies, your fees or anything. But if you speak the way he speaks, no.
Anyone
will fall for it. See, I have my own strength. People understand, people will buy people first before they buy a product or service from you. They have to like you. See, there are most of my clients, they like the clarity with which I speak, the confidence, the clarity, the process, my ethics, the integrity. You get what you see, that's it. And I will not say, if I can't do something, I will say no. And I have my own way of conveying. Now, I will kind of attract people, only those people. Right? I will attract only, it's never about the design alone is what I am saying. We all think that people come to us for the design, right? It's never that case. Because there are hundreds of better designers than us. Thousands of better designers than us. Okay, this is one of the focus area. So that's where I wanted to highlight and close the session. So he has certain belief system, right? And he's trying to use that in architecture. People might agree, disagree, but there are prospective clients who kind of get attracted to his process, his belief system, and that's one of the reasons why he is successful. Now I'm not saying நாளைக்கு போயிட்டு எல்லாரும் வந்துட்டு பூஜை பண்ணிக்கலாம் சொல்லலாம். That is not the point. See, this can be something like it can be as simple as being a pet lover. You can be a strong pet lover, right? Dogs, cats, snakes, anything, right? Now if you start designing spaces for human beings who own pets, I might be an architect with 20 years experience. Let's say Arpita, she's a pet lover, right? And she really cares about designing spaces where pets are also part of the environment system. Now, if he, for example, Nelson has a lot of pets, right? Now, irrespective of the experience or the command I bring to the industry, the chances of Arpita getting it, because she is young, that's why I am relating. Somebody with 3 years experience, the chances of Nelson as a client going to Arpita is higher. Now, adukkaga vandittu don't create something that you don't believe in because you'll be stuck with it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
In Alpha Club, we have person like another. We have Nelson, our own Nelson, who speaks like you only.
Mm-hmm.
You guys get connected later. So there's a person who designs for children. There's a person who designs for... I design small spaces because I firmly believe that we should not waste space. I've always lived in a small... That's my belief system. And you should not waste money. You should not waste time. You should be cognizant of the fact that everything comes with an investment. So those things will help you formulate. How you translate them to architecture? How do you translate them to architecture or design matters?
Yeah.
How many of you understood what I told now? So it's not about I will do restaurant, I will do home, I will do this thing. Who you are, what you believe in. And if you can translate that into an architectural language, trust me, you're going to attract a lot of people who have the same beliefs.
Yeah.
And that's very, very easy.
So 2 questions. I did complete one project. So corporate projects solitary. Yeah. So corporate clients usually they bring up their own BOQ. Then they give me a Excel stating L1, L2, L3 and all.
You are into execution, is it?
Yeah. So we design and execute spaces. So we also prepare our own BOQ with design. But then the corporate clients bring in the L1, L2, L3 factors. Though how to tackle it?
He owns a factory. He's an architect. His family owns a factory and he designs and executes. What do you want to do on the project?
Hey, how do you tackle L1, L2, L3? Sorry. Again, you
இங்கே பாரு
again
சரி நீ ஆன்சர் பண்ணு.
after after
உனக்கு ஃபிலாசபிக்கல் ஆன்சர் வேணுமா?
very practical, very see.
ப்ராக்டிக்கல் ஆன்சர் நான் சொல்கிறேன் கேளு.
I also have one practical answer after him.
நீ ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணணும். எதுக்கு பண்ணுற? யுவர் கம்பெனி ஹாஸ் அ விஷன், ஃபினான்ஷியல் கோல்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது. இப்போ அந்த இதில் பிரேக் டவுன் பண்ணி தான் நீ ஆர் கோயிங் டு கோட் ஃபார் அ ப்ராஜெக்ட், ரைட்? ஐ வில் பி டாக்கிங் அபவுட் இட், பட் நீ அதில் தான் பண்ணணும். நீ அது பண்ணும்போது நீ L2 L3 இருந்தனா இட் இஸ் ஓகேன்ற. அந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் போச்சுன்னா என்ன அடுத்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் வரும். த கான்ஃபிடென்ஸ் ஆர் த அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் தட் இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட்லலாம் அடுத்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் ஊருக்குள்ள லட்சக்கணக்கில் இருக்குது ப்ராஜெக்ட் வரும். நான் இமேஜின் திஸ், இவர் தான் உனக்கு எப்பயுமே யாரோட தோக்குறோன்னு தெரியாது. ஹூ இஸ் லூசிங். இப்போ இவர் வந்து இதே மாதிரி இவர் தான் காம்படிட்டர். ஹீ இஸ் த ஒன் ஹூ கேவ் L1. இவருக்கு லாஸ்ட் 4 months ப்ராஜெக்டே இல்லை. உன்ன மாதிரியே ஃபேக்ட்ரி வச்சிருக்காரு, உன்ன மாதிரியே எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் டீம் வச்சிருக்காரு. இவருக்கு சம்பளமே இப்போ கொடுக்க முடியல. இப்போ இவர் என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, நான் ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்டை வந்து ஒரு 5% லாஸுக்கு பண்ணாலும் பரவாயில்ல, என் டீம் எனக்கு வச்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஹீஸ் கட்டிங் டவுன் இஸ் கார்னர்ஸ். ஹீஸ் டேக்கன் ஓவர் டிராஃப்ட் ஃப்ரம் அ ஃபர்ம் பண்ணி அவர் எப்படியாவது அடிக்கணும்னு பார்த்தா அந்த ப்ராஜெக்டை L1 பண்ணுறாரு. தட்ஸ் இஸ் கான்டெக்ட், அந்த சிச்சுவேஷன். அது ரைட்டாக தப்பான்றது செகண்ட், பட் அந்த டைமுக்கு ஹீ இஸ் டூயிங் தட். இப்போ அவர் அது பண்ணுறதுனால நீயும் லாஸ் ஆகணுமா? கரெக்டாக. வெயிட் ஃபார் யுவர் டைம். யூ ஹேவ் யுவர் ப்ராசஸ், யூ ஸ்டிக் டு யுவர் ப்ராசஸ். இது என்னோட ப்ராக்டிக்கல் ஆன்சர். போச்சுன்னா பரவாயில்ல. சி, I'll tell you, nobody can have 100% success ratio. நான் இன்னைக்கு காலையில் தான் ஒரு ரீல் ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணிட்டு வந்தேன். எடிசன் தெரியும்ல, எத்தனை இன்வென்ஷன் பண்ணியிருப்பார். எடிசன் என்ன இன்வென்ட் பண்ணாரு? பல்பு. லைட் பல்ப் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. அவர் ஆக்சுவலாக 1000+ பேட்டன்ஸ் வச்சிருக்காரு. அதில் 5 தான் வந்து ஹியூமன் பீங், 5ஓ 6ஓ தான் வந்து ஹியூமன் பீங்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலாக யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். மற்றதெல்லாம் வந்து அவ்வளோ கான்சிக்வன்ஸ் இல்லை, அவ்வளோ இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் இல்லை. அது பர்சன்டேஜ் பார்த்தோன்னா 0.05 தான் வரும். பிகாசோ வந்து ஃபேமஸ் பெயிண்டிங் சொல்லுங்க ஏதாவது. மாட்டினானுங்க. அப்புறம் அது மைக்கேல் ஆஞ்சலோல மோனாலிசா யார் பிகாசோவை பண்ணாரு?
லியோனார்டோ டா வின்சி.
ஏன்டா குழப்பறீங்க?
He is an inventor, sir.
பிகாசோ நிறைய பண்ணியிருக்காரா? ஃபேமஸ் பெயிண்டரா? 50,000 பெயிண்டிங் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. ஆனால் வேர்ல்டு ரினவுண்டாக எத்தனை இருக்கும்? 10-20 தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி தான் எல்லாருமே. நோபடி கேன் ஹேவ் 100% சக்ஸஸ் ரேட். யூ ஆர் சப்போஸ் டு நாட் கன்வெர்ட் ஆல் ப்ராஜெக்ட். யூ ஆர் நாட் சப்போஸ் டு வின் எவ்ரி இன்டர்வியூ. யூ ஆர் நாட் சப்போஸ் டு வின் எவ்ரி ரேஸ். You are only supposed to run every race.
I know that the client is asking for my expertise, but he is asking for an contract rate. அதாவது ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் போய் பேசுகிறேன், கிளைண்ட் வந்து he doesn't want to give the project at my price. He just wants my expertise. Questions கேட்டு he is getting all the answers.
டிசைன் வாங்குறாங்க இல்லையா?
டிசைன் இல்லை, டெக்னிக்கல் டீடைல்ஸ். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் எலக்ட்ரிக்கல், நெட்வொர்க்கிங் எல்லாமே பேசுகிறோம்.
கூட இப்போ என்ன?
பட் I know he will not give the project.
பரவாயில்ல, இப்போ என்ன? போ, கொடுத்துட்டு போ, என்ன பார்ப்போம். It will come.
The intent is, again we'll go back to the intent. If the intent is right, what will happen now? I have personal experience. Once the client gets very comfortable with you, they want only you, right? They have a project, they have 3 projects, they have to get L1, L2, L3. They'll get L1 and L2 from Knight Frank and CBRE. They'll definitely not be in your price. They'll be very high. Okay, so my point is, you talk to the client, you give them all the drawings, you get to that comfort level, and then you know that you're giving them on time, you're giving them in budget, you're going to be good with them in delivering on time. So what they will do is, they'll make sure that you are there in the project. They will make sure that you are there in the project. You don't have to go L1, they'll make you L1.
So I'll tell you one shortcut for this. You feel that you're giving too much information knowing that people are not going to come. அது வந்து இட் கேனாட் பி தட். லைக் சி, ஒன்று மென்டலி வந்து ஓகே நான் நிறையா கொடுப்பேன், ஐ டோன்ட் எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பேக் அப்படின்னு நினச்சிட்டு கொடுத்தேன்னா யூஆர் கிவர், அவ்வளோதான். அது வரும்போது இட் இஸ் ஃபைன். ஹியர் யூ ஆர் செட்டிங் த எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன். ஸோ யூ வில் நாட் பி மென்டலி நமக்கு லாஸ் ஆகிற மாதிரி தெரியாது. இது ஒன்று. ரெண்டாவது ஒரு ஹேக் ஐ ஃபாலோ. ஓகே, I'll say, always tell people what to do, when to do and why to do. When they pay money, tell them how to do it. நான் திருப்பி சொல்கிறேன், always tell people what to do, when to do and why to do. Only when they pay you money, tell them how to do it. இதை போய் நல்லா திங்க் பண்ணி பார்த்து இது பண்ணி பாரு, you will make money.
What made you specialize only in corporate Zen spaces? Particularly in corporate.
Corporates, see, I was exposed to everything. Initially when we started, we were only doing in Ashok Nagar, we had a small 3 BHK apartment, only 3 of us working together, and like a small team. So anything which comes our way, we used to take. Small residential apartments, even a small shop. And then eventually experience working on apartment projects, commercial projects, corporate projects. We came to know that we did one project in Coimbatore in 2015.
Varnan.
We Visionary have seen. So we did that project in 2015. What we understood in that project is the client comes in the first day, client comes in the last day into the project. Between, he's not even interacting. So he's fully trusting us to deliver. And as long as you deliver, then they are not too much, into the design process, this, that, no. They're giving you a full free hand. And then the money is also good. So in experience, I found out doing 100 meetings with one residential client and delivering one project in 6 months, compared to that you are delivering 3-4 projects in 3 months, and then the number of meetings which happens is 1 or 2, 3 project meetings which is happening. And as long as they trust you and you deliver good at the end of it. And in commercial projects, corporate projects, 80 people like it, 20 people don't like it, it's okay. It's a win. It's a huge win. But in residential projects, you should make sure that all 5 people in the family actually like it. This guy will have an opinion, that guy will change it, and that guy will again ask you to change it. Then end of the day, how many iterations you'll do, how much time you'll spend on design, and how many people will you satisfy. And then there's less ego also. So looking at all that, even now I do residential projects just for the sake of doing, I do residential. But my bread and butter is from corporate commercial.
See, it's basically, having seen him evolve through this thing, he never wanted to be in corporate. Like, he never did corporate until 2015.
Yeah. They pushed me into it.
Somehow he went there, he figured it out. So the key is what works well for you. There are a lot of reasons. See, whatever reason he says will work for corporates, I have my own reasons for not doing corporate. First of all, they'll not give you 50% advance for execution.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll ask you to deliver material and do some work, and only then 10% around. It's a red flag for me. Somehow he is able to manage that. And last payment வரும்போது 5% retention amount for 1 year or 10% apply, for which you have to take a bank guarantee, which means fixed deposit போடணும். 10% in a corporate இது வந்து actually income. I have done my fair share of corporate project, but இந்த இதெல்லாம் வரும்போது I was not okay with it. Whereas residential, for me it was okay, because people pay 50% advance, right? And they will listen to you. Even if there are 1 or 2 days delay, they will say okay ன்னு சொல்லி கொடுப்பாங்க. So for me that was more comfortable. For him it was comfortable. So the key is what works well for you. That's all. And he went into corporate interior in 2015, like 7 and 8 years after architecture only he did that.
Yeah.
இன்ஃபேக்ட் எனக்குலாம் வந்து கார்பரேட், நான் யூகேலேயே வந்து ஆஃபீஸஸ் ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். நான் இந்தியா வந்ததுக்கப்புறமா ஐவ் டன் கார்பரேட் இது. ஐவ் டன் வித் பேங்க்ஸ், சிட்டி பேங்க்ஸ், ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் சார்ட்டர்ட் பேங்க். பட் ஐ couldn't feel that it was my comfort zone. And I know last month when Kishore had come, he had found this thing. It happens by chance, but then once you understand that this works well for me, you have to double down on it.
Yes.
Once you figure out this is what is working for me, now you have to really, really double down on it. And you have to be the best in that thing.
Yeah. You should understand who is the best in delivering this kind of office.
Kishore he has done 180 plus theaters, cinema theaters. And he's done a lot of resto bars, lot of residences. So he talks in silos. He has his own form.
Corporate, you have to have a big team also. The execution team, you need to have 100 plus execution team. You have to have a lot of contacts in terms of consultants. And then, like he said, advance is less. Then you should have your GST, you should have your LUT, you should keep filing your thing. Your invoices have to be perfect. You cannot take cash. But yes, if you figure out and then you understand your niche and you go deep into it, definitely everyone has their, yeah.
All right, Dinesh, thank you.